Hi everyone, welcome to King and Kingdom History Channel. In this video, we will discuss about the kings of the Singasari Kingdom. In the 13th century, on the eastern island of Java, the Singasari Kingdom was founded, with its first king named Ken Arok. Initially, this kingdom was called Tumapel, with the capital Kutaraja in the Malang city area. This area is now called the Kutho Badar area because when the Sultan Agung of Mataram conquered East Java, the city walls were breached and the residents finally left the city. This area is geographically very strategically located because it is located between the Brantas River and the Bango River. So this area is very fertile and very easy to defend because of the two rivers. Tumapel at that time was the Kuzu area of the Daha kingdom. Kuzu Tumapel was led by Aku the named Tunggul Ametung. Kuzu was the Kuadanan area in the Dutch era or Katamengong in the Islamic Mataram era. The capital of Tumapel during the Tunggul Ametung era was Kutaraja. King Airlangga divided his kingdom, the Kahuripan kingdom, into two kingdoms for his two sons, namely the Janggala kingdom and the Panjalu kingdom. Tumapel was originally part of the Janggala kingdom, then a war broke out between the Janggala and Panjalu kingdoms, which the Panjalu kingdom won. So the Tumapel area became the territory of the Panjalu kingdom, which was later called the Daha kingdom or Kedah kingdom. Tunggul Ametung was killed by Ken Arok using a cunning ploy to sacrifice Kibo Ijo, a Tumapel retainer. To kill the Tunggul Ametung, Ken Arok ordered a powerful keris from Empu Gandring. Empu is the title of a very powerful blacksmith. Because the magical aura is very strong, the Gandring master took quite a long time to complete the keris. Ken Arok couldn't wait for the keris to be finished, went to Empu Gandring and asked for his keris. A fight broke out, and Master Gandring was killed by his own keris. Ken Arok stabbed Empu Gandring with a keris. Before he died, Empu Gandring cursed that the keris he had made would kill Ken Arok and 7 of his descendants. This keris was taken to Tumapel and shown to Kibo Ijo. Kibo Ijo was interested in the keris and borrowed the keris from Ken Arok. Kibo Ijo carried a keris around Kutaraja and people thought the keris belonged to Kibo Ijo. One night, Ken Arok invited Kibo Ijo to drink, and when Kibo Ijo was drunk and asleep, he stole the Empu Gandring keris from Kibo Ijo and entered the Tunggul Ametung palace to kill him. In the morning, Tunggul of Ametung was found dead with a keris thought to belong to Kibo Ijo stuck in his chest. Kibo Ijo was arrested and immediately killed by Ken Arok to eliminate witnesses without going through trial. With the death of Tunggul Ametung, Ken Arok married Ken Deeds and appointed himself as Aku Tumapel. No one dared to go against his decision. Ken Diders, who at that time was pregnant with Tunggul Ametung's child, who was later named Anu Satiti, preferred to remain silent, even though she knew who the real killer of Tunggul Ametung was. The Panjalu kingdom at that time was led by Dandhang Jendis with the title Sri Maharaja, Sri Saweswara Triwikramawatara, and Indita Srengalankana Digjaya Utungadiwa. Another name for this king was Srenga or Kirthajaya, a follower of the Shiva Hindu religion, the Pirawa Tantra sect. King Kirthajaya ruled from 1144 Saka years or 1185-1222 AD. In 1222 there was a dispute between the Brahmins, Hindu and Buddhist religious leaders, and Raja Kirthajaya, king of Panjalu, which made many Brahmins leave Panjalu to Kutharaja Tumapel. At that time, Ken Arok was preparing troops to break away from the Panjalu kingdom. With the support of the Brahmins, Ken Arok appointed himself king of Tumapel, with the title Rajaza Sangamurwa Bhumi. King Kirthajaya responded to this by saying that he could only be defeated by the god Shiva, and Ken Arok responded that he had the title Bathara Shiva, Mula Malarung inscription. My note is that the Mula Malarung inscription is an inscription made during the reign of Ken Arok on the orders of Ken Arok himself. The war between the Tumapel and Panjalu kingdoms took place in Ganta village, currently Tolung Rejo village, in Gantang sub-district, Malang district. In this war, Mahesa Walungan, Mahapati of the Panjalu kingdom, and Gubar Balaman, Senapati of the Panjalu kingdom, died in battle. Ken Arok took advantage of the topography of Ganta village, which has mountain slopes and rivers. The Panjalu troops, who were in an attacking position, had to cross the river. The Panjalu troops had to climb the rising ground, had to die from the arrows of the Tumapel troops, and because they had to climb, they were easily speared by the Tumapel troops. King Kirtha Jaya himself is flee from the battle and took refuge in a Dewalaya temple. In Nagara Kirtagama, it is written that King Kirtha Jaya ascended to the realm of the gods, possibly committing suicide or dying from his wounds at the Dewalaya temple. With the death of Kirtha Jaya, Panjalu submitted to Tumapel's rule. According to Nagara Kirtagama, Ken Arok appointed Jaya Saba, Kirtha Jaya's son, to be king of Gelang or Ingurawan kingdom as a subordinate king. In accordance with the Mula Malarung inscription, the Panjalu kingdom was handed over to his son, Bathara Paramiswara, to become subordinate king in the Panjalu kingdom. Ken Arok ruled the Tumapel kingdom from 1222-1227 AD. Ken Dedez and Tungal Amitang have one child, namely Anusapati or Bathara Anusapati. Ken Arok had two wives, namely Ken Dedez as the empress's wife, and Ken Umang as the concubine. Ken Dedez and Ken Arok have 4 children, namely 1. Bathara Parameswara or Mahisa Wanga Telling, 2. Apanji Saprang, 3. Gunning Baya or Agni Baya, 4. Dewi Rimbu. Ken Arok and Ken Umangs have 4 children, namely 1. Toti Jaya or Panji Tojaya, 2. Panji Sutu, 3. Wergola, 4. Dewi Rambi. When the Panjalu kingdom was defeated by Tumapel, Ken Arok appointed Ken Dedez's son, Mahesa Wanga Telling or Bathara Parameswara, to be king of Panjalu. This made Anusapati feel that he was treated differently by his father, Ken Arok, because as the eldest child he was not chosen as king of Panjalu kingdom. He told his mother, Ken Dedeza, and Ken Dedez told him the truth, that indeed Anusapati was not Ken Arok's son, but the son of Tungal Amatung, and his father was killed by Ken Arok. Anusapati got the Empu Gandring Keris, which had been kept by Ken Dedez, then gave it to Ki Pangalasan, a powerful warrior he trusted, to kill Ken Arok. Ki Pangalasan successfully killed Ken Arok. To eliminate witnesses, Anusapati killed Ki Pangalasan and said that his servant had gone crazy. Ken Arok died in 1227. In memory of Ken Arok, the Kajanengan temple was built in Malang to worship Ken Arok. In 1227 AD, after Ken Arok died because he was killed by Anusapati, Bathara Anusapati appointed himself king of the Tumapel kingdom. Mahesa Wangatelling was suspicious of Ken Arok's death and suspected that Bathara Anusapati was the mastermind behind Ken Arok's murder. Mahesa Wangatelling then announced that the Kateri kingdom would become an independent kingdom and separate from the Tumapel kingdom. Ken Dedez summoned his 2 sons, Bathara Anusapati and Mahesa Wangatelling, to avoid civil war between his 2 sons. Finally, the decision was made that Mahesa Wangatelling was the king of the Panjalu kingdom and Bathara Anusapati was the king of the Tumapel kingdom. So in 1227 Common Era, in central and eastern Java, there were 2 large kingdoms, namely the Tumapel kingdom and the Panjalu kingdom. Therefore, we will discuss the kings of the 2 kingdoms until they were reunited into the kingdom of Tumapel. Let's first discuss the king of the Tumapel kingdom. Anusapati ruled the Tumapel kingdom from 1227-1248 AD, reigning for 21 years. Anusapati is married to Dewi Rimbu, who is the daughter of Ken Arok and Ken Dedez. From this marriage they had 2 children, namely Seminingrat and Dewi Seruni. In accordance with the Nagara Kirtagama book and the Mula Malarung inscription, Anusapati died a natural death in 1248 AD and was succeeded by his son, namely Seminingrat or Wisnuwardhana or Rangawuni or Jaya Wisnuwardhana. After Anusapati died, the Kaidal temple was built in Malang for worship. Seminingrat ascended the throne of the Tumapel kingdom from 1248 to 1268 AD, reigning for 20 years. In 1268 AD, Seminingrat abdicated and gave the throne to his son Kirta Negara. King Seminingrat then became a Brahmin to deepen his religion and prepare himself to die in a hermitage as a Brahmin. Semeningrat died in 1270 Common Era. In 1248 AD, when Batara Anusapati died, Tojaya rebelled against King Ganingbaya from the Panjalu kingdom. Tojaya then appointed himself as king of Panjalu. After Vishnuvardhana died, the Jago temple was built in Malang for worship. The fourth king of the Tumapel kingdom was Kertanara, ascending the throne from 1268 to 1292 AD, ruling for 24 years. In 1254 AD, Kertanagara was appointed by his father as a vassal king in the Kediri kingdom. With this appointment, Kertanagara was also appointed as Yuwaraja, or crown prince of the Tumapel kingdom. In 1268 Common Era, Kertanagara became king of Tumapel after his father abdicated to become a Brahmin. In 1292 AD, King Kertanagara was killed during a rebellion carried out by Sri Jayakatwang, a subordinate king from the Emgarawan kingdom. After Kertanagara died, in 1300 AD, a Kungup temple or Singhasari temple was built in Kandirengo village, Singhasari sub-district, Malang district for worship. Jayakatwang carried out a rebellion because of the advice of Arya Wiraraja, who saw that the troops guarding the capital Tumapel were very small because many Tumapel troops were sent outside Java. King Jayakatwang was a descendant of King Kerthaja, the king of the Panjalu kingdom who was killed in the Panjalu war against Tumapel, led by Ken Arok. King Jayakatwang then moved the capital of his kingdom from the Nurawan area to Kediri and named his kingdom the Panjalu kingdom or Daha kingdom or Kediri kingdom as the successor to the Panjalu kingdom, which was previously led by King Kerthajaya. Now we discuss the king of the Panjalu kingdom, or the Daha kingdom, or the Kediri kingdom. In 1222 Common Era, Ken Arok appointed Mahesa Wangateng as the first vassal king of the Panjalu kingdom. In 1227 Common Era, after the death of Ken Arok from the Tumapel kingdom, Mahesa Wangateleng announced that the Panjalu kingdom would become an independent kingdom, separate from the Tumapel kingdom. Mahesa Wangateleng married Deiri Rambi, daughter of Ken Arok and Ken Umang. From this marriage 3 children were born, namely Waninghayan, Mapanji Aningar, and Narajaya. In 1248 Mahesa Wangateleng died. His successor should have been Mapanji Anenga, but Mapanji Anenga had already died. Meanwhile, his youngest child, Naraja, was still too young to rule, so Ganingbaya, the younger brother of Batara Parameswara, ascended the throne to replace his older brother, while Narajaya was appointed as Bewenka and as crown prince of the Panjalu kingdom. In 1248 AD, Ganingbaya ascended the throne of the Kediri kingdom to replace his older brother who died. Ganingbaya is the son of Kendadis and Ken Arok. Ganingbaya's reign was very short due to a rebellion by his half-brother, Tojaya, who felt he had the same right to the throne. In 1248 AD, Tojaya rebelled against his younger brother, Raja Ganingbaya, to become king of Kediri. Tojaya was the son of Ken Arok and Ken Umang concubine wife. Tojaya felt entitled to be King Kedaya because he was older than King Ganingbaya. In 1248 AD, Tojaya ascended the throne to become King Kairi. With the killing of King Ganingbaya by the Tojaya rebellion, the Sinhala dynasty led by Semeningrat and the Rajasa dynasty led by Narajaya were unhappy. They gathered their strength to defeat King Tojaya. In 1250 AD, 2 of Tojaya's nephews, Semeningrat from the Tumapel kingdom and Narajaya from Wenka, attacked the capital of the Panjalu kingdom. In the war, Tojaya was injured by a spear and was rescued by his troops in the Katang Lumbang area, Kediri. Tojaya died in the Katang Lumbang area in 1250 AD. After Tojaya's death, Semeningrat, whose wife was Waninghayan, the eldest daughter of Mahesa Wangateleng, felt entitled to inherit the throne of the Kediri kingdom in his wife's name. The Panjalu kingdom was then merged with the Tumapel kingdom, and Semeningrat became king of the 2 kingdoms, namely Tumapel and Panjalu. This merger of kingdoms was named the Singhasari kingdom. Narajaya, who was supposed to be the king of Panjalu, was appointed the 2nd king of the Tumapel kingdom, or as King Angabhaya. Joint government between Semeningrat, and Naraja to unite the Sinhala dynasty and the Rajasa dynasty so that there will be peace in the Tumapal kingdom. In 1254 Common Era, Kertanagara was appointed by his father as a vassal king in the Panjalu kingdom and became Yuwaraja, or crown prince of the Tumapal kingdom. The appointment of this Kertanagara is proof that the territory of the Panjalu kingdom is very important for the Tumapal kingdom. This is a video about the kings of the Singasari kingdom. See you again in the next video. Thank you.